Welcome back to a brand new Creative Encounter Podcast episode. I'm your host, Juliet C. Payne, and you are back for episode 62 of this podcast. If this is your first time, welcome. Please go ahead and subscribe on Spotify. Go ahead and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all of those platforms so you don't miss any of the episodes. We drop one every single week. If you would love to partner with this ministry, I would love for you to join the partnership team, become a monthly financial partner so we can keep this going and the music and production going. So the link is in the description below. But without further ado, I'm here with a friend who we're actually meeting for the first time.
Yes,
but we've been homies for about 6? Yeah, about 6 years.
About 6 years.
Crazy.
Yes,
Yo,
sir.
This is my guy. This is an entrepreneur, a creative director. He does production, video production, all of that good stuff. This is Bakari Kamal. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, brother? It's good to be here, man. What's up, man?
This is crazy. Yo, okay, so let me tell you how we met, right? So we were both in grad school at DeVry University.
Yes, sir.
And your degree was for entrepreneurship too, right?
So my degree was in multimedia design and development.
Okay, very nice.
So I started off doing web graphic design, and then as I finished, we just discovering more about everything multimedia.
Yeah, that's very good. Cool. So I was going for entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And I think like halfway through, it was crazy too because I was maybe like a little over a quarter to halfway through done with the program, but I didn't finish it. I actually stopped. I don't know if I told you that. Yeah. But yeah, I was just halfway through. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of taking all these courses, putting a lot of time and energy into this, but I kind of already know what I want to do. And it was already for entrepreneurship, and I kind of just went straight into, launching my businesses and stuff that I was doing and everything. So I didn't finish the program, but I love that you finished it, dude.
Yeah.
So how was it? How intense was it continuing onward with it?
So I was actually finishing up my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
So when I was in DeVry, when we met, I was wrapping up after my first 2 years of college.
Okay. So you were still in your bachelor's?
Yeah, I was doing the DeVry Advantage Academy in high school.
Yeah.
So when I finished high school, I had associates.
Yeah.
And so I was finishing off my last 2 years so I can get that bachelor's degree.
Gotcha. So you were already a genius in high school. So
Oh, Lord.
you was already taking the college courses in high school.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome, man.
It was just a great opportunity. God blessed me with that opportunity in high school to transfer after my sophomore year. And then, it was just college classes and high school classes from then on.
That's cool, man. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, but we met in that class virtually.
Yep.
You know me, like right when the class started, I was sending like friend requests to everybody in the class. I was like, yo, let's connect so that we can make sure we're supporting each other so we can pass this class, all of that stuff. And I've just been keeping up with you, bro, like as far as your creativity, where you've been going, like your transformation in the Lord and what God has been doing.
Yes.
I was like, I got to get you. And I hit you up some weeks. I was like, I got to get you on this podcast, bro. Like,
man, thank you.
Story.
Thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure just watching you, seeing you do your music, your production, raising a family.
Man, dude, it's crazy. Man. You already do. Like, so my guy, he gets here super early. I love that. My guy gets here early. Oh, he's texting. Oh, no, he calls me. He's like, yo, I'm on my way. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of still setting up. And I got like 3 little kids, so if we can stick to the time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but it's perfect. So tell me, I always like to hear like the backstory. How did you start getting into, your love for just like creativity and the arts? When did that start, and when did you know you wanted to kind of go and venture into that?
Man, that's a great question. So, when I was younger, I used to always go over to my grandmother's house, and we used to hang out, watch TV, watch wrestling, different things like that.
Wow.
And my grandmother, she began to develop Alzheimer's, which is a form of dementia. Yeah. So she started to lose her memory. And, when I saw that, and eventually she passed, and when I saw her losing her memory, forgetting who her children were, I began to develop a passion for documenting things, right? And being able to preserve memories because I saw just how important that was firsthand. And so once she passed away, I got more into just photography. And so that was kind of my entry point, is getting into photography.
Were you able to capture any photos with her or of her?
Great question. So I never really captured any photos of her per se during my starting point.
Right.
I was really just started to get into doing anything like with family photos. So I took some photos of like my cousins, or when my cousin had a baby, then I would do like some maternity photos, stuff like that. And that was my entry point, and from there I just started to explore the creative side of that. Found out that my camera could do some video. And being in Chicago and looking around, I'm like, oh, wow, everybody's doing these music videos. And this was during the time where like D Gaines and Aze Films and all of these people who were in that secular music video realm. And I'm like, you know what, I want to do some music videos.
There you go.
So ever since then, it's just been all types of video, photography, and just exploring all of the different types to really get an understanding of where I wanted to lay my hat.
Wow, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then that translated into, what was the name of the degree that you did again?
So I got a degree in multimedia design and development.
Okay, design and development. So tell me how that kind of correlates with what you were doing prior to that as a photographer and videographer.
Great. So essentially, just getting into it really was more of just a creative, fun venture for me. I wasn't really thinking long-term career-wise. And even when you're young, you have these dreams and these goals, but sometimes you're like, I don't know if I can do this full-time because I need some stability. So, the degree side, it was more so me finishing up school, taking advantage of the opportunity that was in front of me to get a degree earlier than normal. And after I got that degree, it was really time for me to decide, what do I want to do with my life? And that's actually when I went to the military. And so I went to the Marine Corps.
Dude, I forgot about that.
Yes,
I
sir.
forgot about that, because I remember when we first met, those were some of your photos, like your profile photos.
Okay.
Did you have like a profile picture where it looked like you were like wearing military clothes?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So we may have met when I was doing some classes in the military. When I was doing
What year was it?
Man, I joined the Marine Corps in, I want to say 2016.
Okay, yeah, because it was 2017 when we connected.
Yeah. So I was probably doing some college classes while I was in the service.
That was it.
And that was actually the master's program that I was doing.
That was it. Now we got to connect.
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
there you go.
You just flooded my mind. I remember that now. Wow.
Yes,
so you're doing that at that time, and you can continue. What you saying?
Yeah. So really, just wanting to finish off with my degree. This was when I first finished. After I got my degree in multimedia design and development, I was like, I'm not ready to go into the corporate space yet. I don't know what I want to do with this degree. And so I was just like, what can I do that would improve my leadership skills and continue to work on me to be the best person I could be? And that was the Marine Corps officer program.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, that's just a whole nother realm and element that I just have no, thoughts of, like, what's that like?
Yes, sir.
What is it like being a part of the military in that capacity? Like, what is it? So you went in for more of a disciplinary kind of, I guess, venture. So, like, just how was the experience with that? This is just for me, just be like, what's the experience like that for?
Man, it was great, man. I was able to really challenge myself and push myself past what I thought I could do. And I think that's one of the good parts about the military. And so I went through a 10-week training program called OCS, Officer Candidate School. And essentially you go through that 10-week program. If you're able to complete it, then you become an officer in the Marine Corps. And then you'll go and, do training for a job and other things like that. So the interesting part about my experience was I went through that program that was 10 weeks, and at about the end of the 9th week, I got cut from the program.
Why?
And so this was right before graduation week where we were training for graduation. I got cut for academic failure. And so I was maybe 2 percentage points away from that percentage that was needed for me to graduate. And I went in front of the lady. She said, hey, you're 2 percentage points away. We're going to have to send you home.
They have no extra credit sheets you can do it.
Man, no extra credit, no nothing, man. So so that was a big part of my experience. And then I decided to go back so that I could finish, become an officer, and do whatever else God saw fit for me to do.
Wow, that's insane. Wow. Now you mentioned God, you mentioned the Lord and everything and what He's calling you to do. Can you share with me kind of your faith journey You know, yeah, you know, I've been really wanting, because this is just a space where we want to just be able to just minister to people's hearts, share our testimony, share our story, so they can be encouraged, because a lot of people are in these seasons and may not have anyone to talk to about it. Can kind of share, it's like a parallel that's happening. So in that phase, when all of that was going on, you were in a different space, you know, spiritually, you know. Now, can you tell me how they kind of moved together as far as the business side and then just like that faith side and them kind of work together, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, when I was first joining the military, this was a time in my life where I was becoming an adult, you know, relieving myself of the different things that was going on back home and exploring a new life, essentially. How do I navigate living by myself, getting paid, for, you know, and not being in school, but my first adventure into adulthood. And so I started reading the Bible by myself. I started to learn more about Black people and the history of what happened to us in America. And so all of these things really had an impact on my spiritual and faith journey, because I was learning how the Bible was used when I was, or when our ancestors were in slavery, right? And I was also learning just about the Bible and what it said, and reading it and understanding it for the first time myself. And all of those things really actually had me walk away from Christ and walk away from the church. And I was really in a place where I was confused, where I had a lot of questions that I didn't feel like were being answered. And so that was where my faith journey began there. It's like, as my career was, you know, taking off as an adult in the military, I was also exploring in the spiritual side to really learn, you know, what do I truly believe? And so that was kind of the start there. And as time went on, I studied a lot of different religions. I studied a little bit about Hinduism and Buddhism, but a lot about just African spirituality, hoodoo, voodoo, and Islam. It was one year where I converted to Islam, and I was reading the Quran. And I believe God just took me on that faith journey, because I think what he was saying to me was, hey, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, well, let me allow you to explore what else is out there so you can see for yourself. And that's kind of how things went. And over time, they converged, my faith journey and my career journey to a place of faith. And that's what people see now today. Wow.
That's insane. That's so good. It's like, I see two different angles with that. I love how you were mentioning God being like, okay, let me show you what else is out there. So you can kind of see like, okay, this ain't working. This ain't working. This ain't fitting. This ain't matching. I still got these questions. And it's like, okay, but what about this? You know, what about that? Whatever, you know. Then the other angle that I'm seeing is like, now, since you've been able to see those things, you can actually connect with those individuals. So it's like when you have conversation with them, you're like, yo, I was here. And then now you can kind of, the idea of apologetics type of thing. You know, being able to have those conversations with people and explore that, and then have them to think like, you know, why are things like this? You know, what is sin? You know, why am I created? Why am I here? All these different things and stuff. So, you know, is there a God that loves me? Is there purpose? All of that stuff. And now you can actually have these conversations with folks, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, going through that time period, one of the things I used to say was, well, if Jesus Christ is real, and if, you know, this church thing and God is real, then he'll show me eventually, and I'll get back to that. I used to say that because, you know, I'd have conversations with my wife, and, you know, me and her, we got married at a Baptist Christian church. I was like, hey, babe, you know, this is where I believe I'm called to explore, and if God and Jesus Christ is real, then he'll show me, and he showed me. You know, so yeah, it's been quite the journey.
That's good. And it's interesting because he says, you know, seeking you'll find him, you know. So you're seeking, and it may not necessarily feel like you were seeking in the right places per se, but I feel like even that journey of you seeking, he still used that to reveal yourself. So the fact of you out there searching and trying to figure it out, he used all those other components and stuff to like still draw you close to him just because you were seeking in general, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting, something to like dive into, you know? I think that's really interesting, you know?
Yeah.
But were you already married once you already gave your life to Christ? Or rather, you gave your life to Christ and then you were married, or you were married first?
Yeah. So I grew up in the church,
Okay, yeah.
and so when I was born, I was
With grandmom and them and all of
yeah,
that. Yeah,
my grandmother, my mom,
Yeah.
my dad, and so I was already a part of the church. I got baptized at a young age, and so me exploring other religious practices and other spiritual practices was really
after the
me
fact.
going into adulthood, right? And so I think this is just one of those things where it's like at a certain age, you have to have your own faith now, right? And so I think when you grow up in the church, you start to have faith based on your parents' faith or based on your grandmother's faith. But then once you get to a certain age, it's like it's time for me to see what do I truly believe. And so that's really what that was. And yeah, I think God really revealed Himself to me in an intimate, personal way, and I think that's what really increased my level of faith, because when God shows Himself to you in your own life, then you can now truly build relationship.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so good. And I love that you mentioned leaving it on the point of relationship.
Yeah.
This is a relationship with God. This isn't religiosity. And a lot of people can look at the Bible from the angle of it being a book of religion. But it's really that whole relationship. It's his government, actually. Him being like, yo, this is earth, and I'm trying to have my heavenly reign on this earth. And you guys are kings and queens under me. And it's like, yo, let's rule this planet together under my lordship, the way I run things through love and truth and all these things and stuff. That's how we do it. Anything that's not outside that is a part of this other kingdom that I don't want y'all to be a part of. That's the love story. He wants us to rule as we should, heads high under his lordship. It's such a beautiful story, man, how you laid this whole thing out.
Yes, sir.
I love it. So dope. Cool, man. So to the creative piece, you have right now your own creative company, your production company.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me the name and how that started and all about it.
Woo, man. So wow. So my production name is Bakari Kamal Productions. It's named after me.
Love it.
And really, it's all about storytelling. It's all about me taking my ministry to the marketplace and shining light on things that don't always get the publicity, right, in media. And what I saw as I was documenting things, I saw the value in documenting, preserving, reclaiming culture through storytelling. And I've observed that storytelling is a major key in human society, but also in the life of Black people. And so my goal is to continue to shine the light on the stories that are not really being shared as often in the digital space and in the space of media. And so that's what we do, man. We work with a lot of nonprofit organizations, and we elevate the way in which Black organizations, Black-led and Black-owned organizations tell their story. Yeah,
that's awesome. Quick question: Is your focus on documenting and specifically Black culture? Like for your business, do you focus on documentary videos and focus on Black culture, minority cultures, whatever, things like that?
Yeah, and so what we do is we focus right now on Black-led and Black-owned organizations. And so whatever the needs are of that organization, there are some organizations that need help with their digital presence. They need an update on their website. There's some organizations that have been long-standing for 40 years, and they've been brick and mortar, and they're the primary organization for what they do. But when they try to translate that story to the digital space, something disconnects. And so my goal is to help them connect that strong legacy to the digital space so that they can now continue to thrive and not dwindle away as dinosaurs because they weren't up to speed with the technological advancements.
Because like you said, a lot of businesses are out there doing what they're supposed to be doing in the community, but then you have to keep up with the age as well.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people can, how it is, older individuals can kind of be just stuck in their old ways. Oh no, this used to work, this is what it is. But it's like as stuff is trending and getting better, they have to see the benefits of that. Like how we were talking right before this, shifting over and making this a podcast instead of those monthly in-person events, so much more output. Because me, like I just love to reach so many people, and it maximizes your time too. We're having this conversation within an hour time frame, and how many people are we out there reaching? And you know what I'm saying? As opposed to mom and pop kind of one-off, one-on-one type of stuff, you want to be able to scale. It's all about scaling. So I love that you're helping people to scale in that fashion,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And you have a component also where you're going to start kind of this coaching component too, which is kind of segueing into that right now. So tell me how that coaching that you're mentioning, how does that connect? So is this like under the same business?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So tell me about that new venture, because I know it's going to be kind of popping off this year.
Yes,
so
sir.
Yeah, so tell me.
Man, so, when you look at the digital space, right, I saw as a videographer the opportunity that was in front of me. And as an entrepreneur, when I put on my entrepreneur hat, I'm like, wow, we have an opportunity to market our businesses, to tell our stories, to scale, to be fruitful and multiply our message in the digital space. And so one of the things I observed was that a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, they need support in that area because there's a high level of anxiety that comes with getting in front of the camera, knowing what to say, knowing how to be confident, right? When you actually turn that camera on. Then there's the other aspect of behind the camera. What lights do I use? What audio do I use? How do I launch the podcast that I want to launch to get my message out there? And so what I do on the coaching side is really helping those kingdom entrepreneurs be able to show up behind and in front of the camera so that they can actually fulfill their God-given purpose in the digital space.
Yeah, I love it. And you help them to optimize, because their reach could be like, okay, they could be comfortable with, I'm reaching 10 people a week, whatever, and stuff. But it's like, yo, if you implement this here, and I'm not just going to leave you there, because it can be scary. It can be scary jumping in and venturing into learning how to use all this stuff, and everything. But you're actually walking them through the process so they can optimize it and get the reach that they envision, but may just be settling for what's before them with the limited resources that they already have. But that's like, yo, let's take this to the next level. I know this is new, this can be daunting, but I got you. So that's why I love like coaching spaces. That's why I love this, to be able to share these testimonies and these stories so people watching could just be encouraged and be like, yo, I feel like I can do that. I feel like this is, I want to, and also just to be like, yo, that's a resource that I may need. So, again, Bakari's link is going to be in the description below so you guys can reach out and get these resources and tools that you need and everything,
Yes,
so
sir.
I love that. That's so dope. So tell me, in addition to that, what's some ventures that you want to go into this year? Now, you and I, we homies because, you're a Kobe fan, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
see,
sir.
this is my guy right here.
We
like,
love Kobe.
So all the other episodes before this, y'all ain't really got to watch them. We can just really focus on this episode. Because we thought, this is my guy right here, so, no, but legit, so, that Mamba mentality, I did the Mamba mentality episode a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, and I'm like, man, this is it, like this year, taking advantage of that 24, that 24 and just get it done, so just having that Mamba mentality. So what's some things that you want to execute? Because, our guy was an executor. What's some stuff you want to execute this year? I'm just going to stretch you and be like, give me 2 to 3 things, that you want to execute, big or small, whatever.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, big thing that we've already started executing. I just got back from a conference in Atlanta.
Yeah, very nice.
And so going to conferences.
For your business?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Good.
So going to conferences, getting in the room with other entrepreneurs, other creatives, influencers who are serious about their business, serious about their craft. And so that's one of the things that we're doing this year is let's invest into ourselves, into the business, and actually get into the room so that we can make those connections. Because relationships and networking sometimes will take you so much farther than just your resources and your skills. Yeah. And so that's one of the big things there. The other thing I would say in terms of goals for this year is really elevating and embracing a team, right?
Dude, that's big one right there, bro.
Super huge.
So
right?
huge. I'm just gonna cut you off right
Yeah.
there because like that's one of my goals this year too. I go live on social media like on Mondays, and I was just telling people like, yo, I need to go ahead and start recruiting these individuals to join these teams because that's how it's gonna grow. You know, you gotta put in that input. You know, pay the individuals, get you a team so that it can continue to flourish and blossom. So I'm glad you're jumping into that. Tell me more about your endeavors with that.
Yeah. So, you know, with a team, you can do more.
Yeah.
You can always do more with a team.
Yes.
And so I think one of the results of a good leader is developing other leaders, right?
That's it.
And so that's like discipleship,
Yep, that's it.
right? The message of Jesus Christ got delivered across the nations with 12 disciples.
Folks, bro.
Right?
2,000 years later, still going.
You know?
From the 12, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
the question that we have to ask ourselves is, what 12 people can I invest my time into that could give me a worldwide message?
So
right.
good.
And so that's what we're doing this year is taking a step back, slowing down. You know, we want to grow and scale the business, but let's input some energy and some time and some resources into the team so that we can handle the blessings that we're actually praying for.
Bro, I know you got one more that you're going to say after this, but hold on. Dude, it's crazy because it's like that's exactly what Jesus did. They expected him to come as this king to just come and just take over, you know, the Roman Empire, just become king over everything and all this stuff, to, you know, destroy everything and all this. They expected this whole thing. He came, like you said, let's slow down. Let me disciple y'all. Let's sit down, have these conversations, tell y'all these parables, get y'all to think and tell these stories and everything, and then send y'all out to kill it. And then even still, after he went to heaven, he told his disciples, don't go out yet until the Holy Spirit comes. When the Holy Spirit comes upon you, now go out there and do everything. So even still, he had them in this place of like, because you know Peter was ready. Peter's like, yo, let's go do it already. You know, he's like, slow down and let's do this before, you know.
Wow.
Oh man, so he's just an example all over. Perfect example of everything.
Perfect example.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes, sir. And I would say the last goal really is to increase the revenue. I think as kingdom entrepreneurs, it's okay for us to make money with what we're doing, you know, with our ministry in the marketplace. And so, you know, that's a big goal of ours is to make sure that we're systemizing things and creating processes that allow us to actually increase capacity and increase revenue in the business. Because if you're going to do kingdom building and kingdom messaging, you need the finances to do that. And so we're going to trust God to deliver on the vision that he's given us, but at the same time putting in place those measures so that we can actually increase our revenue in the business.
Yes, that's good. That's it. Wow. Yeah. So what we like to do in every episode of Creative Encounter is go ahead and give like a word, something to encourage and motivate the individual watching on the platform. So if you have some type of encouraging word to kind of tie things up, that would be absolutely phenomenal. Or something that you can tell our creatives.
Wow. So I think the big things I would say to the creatives is, number one, share your story. Share your story. Yeah. There's so much pain that each of us has been through, trauma, hurt, trials and tribulations. And a lot of times we can have the tendency to be discouraged based on the circumstances that we're going through. Not realizing that we're actually going through these circumstances so that we can testify on how God brought us through so that we can serve a group of people that God's called us to serve.
Let's go.
So if we can not let the enemy mute us, right, from using our voice, from sharing our story, from being vulnerable enough to share the testimonies of the most painful and most hurtful things that have happened to us, it can put us in a position to share more about what God has done for us personally and maybe help increase somebody else's faith. And that's the last piece that I would say is you cannot please God without faith.
Yes.
And faith isn't just hoping or just believing, but faith means that you're going to take some actions to actually show God, I believe in the vision that you've given me, and therefore I'm going to write some notes and write it down and make it plain, and I'm going to actually set up the computer, and now you're showing God, I don't know exactly where all the money's coming from or how it's all going to work out, but I'm doing something to show you I believe in the vision you've given me.
Come on, man. Hallelujah. Yeah. Come on, bro. So what I'm hearing is that you a preacher.
Hey, if the Lord says so.
Let's go. Dude, I love this, man. Hallelujah. Bro, thank you so much.
Wow,
this
man.
So
thank you,
good.
man.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. God bless you and your platform and how you are not only lifting yourself up, but lifting up other creatives that are doing kingdom work. So God bless you in your ministry, my brother.
Thank you so much, man. Praise God, dude.
Yes,
I need you to tell everyone how they can follow you and find you.
Yes,
We're going to put those links below, but tell them how they can find you.
Yes, sir. So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at Bakari Kamal Productions, or on my website, www.bakarikamalproductions.com.
Let's go. And we're going to be connecting, bro, because we've been needing photographer videos for projects, but also I love how you say with the black business, I would love to actually get that documentary, from you, get that documentary work. We need to talk about that.
Yes, sir, man.
Absolutely.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, so I'm going to be working with Bakari. This is my guy, and I want you guys to connect with him as well. He's doing amazing, phenomenal things. Y'all going to be seeing more of us working together. There's going to be some dope collabs.
Yes, sir.
Crazy. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning into Creative Encounter Podcast. One more episode, 62. 63 will be dropping next week. You don't want to miss that. Again, make sure to subscribe, go ahead and hit the bell, and partner with our ministry and all of that good stuff. Love you guys so much. See you next time.